So one of these footages was shot on the DJI Pocket 3. Is it as good as everybody's saying it is? And can you tell the difference? Let's dive in. Hi, my name's Tom, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Okay, now back to the video. So I'll be honest, I never owned the previous Pockets, the Pocket 1 or the Pocket 2. And this entire year, I've sort of been searching for the perfect travel companion camera. And I'm not gonna lie, I was following this camera very, very closely because as the rumors became more serious and some photos got leaked, I realized that everything that was rumored about this camera and hyped was true. So I'm kind of giddy right now. I ended up getting the Creators Package, and the Creators Package has its pros and cons. Let's just dive right into it. So what do you get in the box? Well, you get this really nice soft case to house the entire Creator package. And along with the soft case, you get a hard case to actually house the unit, so you can put it in your pocket and keep it protected. I really like the magnetic feature on the wide angle lens and the additional mist lens. And I'm actually finding myself using the wide angle lens quite a bit. You do get a tripod, a grip extension, which I'm going to talk about later because I have an issue with this, another extension that functions as a spare battery, and probably the most significant feature, which is the DJI Mic 2 Lav. This is pretty big, and supposedly it can record internally 32-bit float. And then you also get your USB charging cable and a cable tie, and of course the dead cat for the DJI Mic 2, which is a bit different, and I like this design. Still clips on, but now it has an extension rod to keep it secure. And of course the magnet. But this right here is the entire Creator package. But for comparison, I also bought the largest package for the Insta360 X3, so let's check that out. For starters, I had to buy the case. I also had to buy the tripod. I also bought the cage, but it did come with the lens hood. And it also did come with a spare battery and a 3-battery charger. It also came with a selfie stick, but it didn't come with the necklace thing. I had to buy that on its own. It came with the bullet time extension, which everyone seems to love, but it did not come with the ability to connect to an external mic. I had to buy that mic receiver myself. And having the Mic 2 Lav gives the advantage to the DJI Pocket 3. So which unit starts up faster? Well, they're both able to start up pretty fast, but the Pocket 3 was able to start 4 seconds faster. Now that may not seem like much, but when you're in the heat of the moment, it's actually quite a bit. So let's do an image quality test and really take a look at the footage. The footage that I showed you in the beginning of this video. Is there a significant difference? And I wanted to test out the new Pocket 3 versus the X3, see how the iPhone does compared to everything. So how good is the image quality from the Pocket 3?
Okay, so let's talk about the screen for a bit. Yes, it is much larger, and yes, it is very, very nice. But compared to like the X3, it's still very small. So although I think it's a huge improvement, definitely over the Pocket 2, still a small screen, but I get it. They have to keep it pocket size, so it's a welcome addition. really insane how good the image quality is. And compared to the X3, it's night and day. I could never get the X3 to work. I would always clean the lens, make sure I'm in daylight, make sure I had adequate light, but it was always grainy, and it shouldn't be like that. Always trying to fiddle with the settings and make it look okay. With the Pocket 3, it's just effortless. You just get a good image every single time. I actually have it set to auto right now, from 50 ISO to 1600, and even in low light. So far, it hasn't disappointed me.
This is a great test right here. You can see the image difference, and in particular, the colors from the iPhone versus the DJI. I really think that the DJI actually looks like a camera, a mirrorless camera that has a little bit more flexibility, and I love D-Log M and of course that mechanical gimbal. This is where the Pocket 3 really shines, low light. Because you have that gimbal, you're not relying on digital stabilization, but more importantly, that 1-inch sensor. Now, we all know that the iPhone's very capable, of course, but with the Pocket 3, I really feel like you're getting a little bit more cinematic footage, and I know that's overused, but it's true. So let's test out the image quality a bit more. How well does the image hold up when you're controlling the environment, when you're controlling the lights and the scene? Okay, now I'm filming on the Pocket 3. And some of you may be really surprised with the image quality. I'm also using the DJI Mic 2, the lav mic. So this is what the lav mic sounds like in a controlled environment. The audio and video quality right now is probably going to be more than enough for most people out there, but just for giggles. Now you're hearing me through my small condenser mic, which is boomed just out of frame. This is a very expensive mic. Is there a significant difference? Is it giving you goosebumps? I also wanted to note that I have the wide angle lens on right now, and I'm holding it with a selfie stick. And finally, this is the onboard mic. This is what the onboard mic sounds like in a controlled environment. So hopefully everything sounds and looks good. Okay, now we are using the X3, and you're hearing me with the onboard microphone. I'm also using the innermost camera, which is recording in full 4K, 24 frames per second. And now you're hearing me with the boom mic. The small condenser mic boomed right above, and this is what the image looks like with a high quality microphone. What do you guys think? Is it better than the Pocket 3? So of course we got to do a low light test, and I think everybody's really curious about the low light capabilities of the Pocket 3 because I heard that the Pocket 2 wasn't so great. I've been using the Pocket 3 for the last week or so. I literally got it right when it was released. I ordered it and it came to my house the next day, and that's why you're seeing this video a week or two after launch. But basically I've been using this along with my phone and the X3 exclusively, and it's pretty impressive. Here's where things get really different. The X3 is just grainy. The iPhone gives this overprocessed image where the image looks brighter than it really is, and the DJI gives the right balance. That 10-bit image is really making a big difference. Also, the DJI Pocket 3 has digital zoom, which basically means you're just cropping in, but I wanted to test it out in low light. It's pretty usable. I mean, I wouldn't use it all the time, but it's pretty usable. Here's where I really wanted to test out the low light capabilities of each camera. Now, all the cameras were set equally except for the iPhone because the iPhone kind of takes over with some processing. But when looking at the X3 versus the DJI, both cameras were set at 800 ISO, and I was shooting at 24 frames per second at 1/50th of a shutter. So you can see here a huge difference in the image quality. Look at that moonlight with the Pocket 3. Unfortunately, the X3 is just too grainy. And that's the problem with the X3, and I honestly think I'm just going to go ahead and sell it. Now, when comparing the iPhone to the DJI, the iPhone actually did pretty well, but the image does look over-processed, and the smaller sensor really shows. Again, the DJI just looks more like a camera, a little bit more artsy. They did a great job with the sensor, the processor, and the 10-bit. Now later on in the audio segment, I'll be testing out the DJI Mic 2, and I'm actually going to be using the low light feature, which basically does some noise reduction, but also cranks up the ISO, so there's naturally some grain. But check this image out, and we were at ISO 1600, and trust me, it was a lot darker than it looks. Look at that moonlight. The DJI just looks fantastic. Another thing is the audio quality, because this is geared towards creators, right? And it's supposed to be pocket size. So you're not always going to want to take your lavalier mic with you, even though it comes with the mic too, which is fantastic. And I highly recommend you take it with you. It's not that big of a deal. You can clip it on, but I get it. Some folks are going to take the bare essentials. So let's do a quick audio test.
Okay, so I don't know which camera to talk to, but this is obviously going to be a test of the internal sound. And there's a lot going on here. There's some wind, so we'll see how this turns out. But so far, the DJI has incredible video quality. So I don't think the sound's going to sound very good, but we'll test it out. I mean, each of the systems has a respective audio quality. I don't know which one is going to sound better. I know as soon as I put the DJI Mic 2 on, that's going to improve the sound greatly. But right now I figured, you know, we'll compare the DJI to the Insta360. I know it's not apples to apples, but I figured the Insta360 X3, the one, and the iPhone, because that's going to be like what the majority of people are looking to see, right? Like, what is the actual video quality of each system, and are you getting more by choosing one system over the other? Okay, so no internal mic system on any of these cameras, actually any camera, even a mirrorless camera, is going to sound as good as an external mic. It's just icing on the cake. So why am I comparing the Pocket 3 to the X3? Well, I'm an independent reviewer and I can't afford to buy all these cameras. No one is giving me these cameras. These are not sponsored videos. These are all out of my own pocket. But trust me when I say this, the X3 and that 1-inch censored model, there's not much of a big difference. Yes, in good lighting, you'll notice the difference, but in bad lighting or low light, it's going to be pretty equivalent. The Pocket 3, on the other hand, because it has a mechanical stabilizer, the gimbal, you're able to keep that motion blur, that cinematic motion blur. So it does look better to the eye. And something about this 1-inch sensor is actually quite good. There are things that I don't necessarily love. No camera's perfect, and mostly the gripe that I have with this camera is the price tag and what you're actually getting with the creator combo. They should have added ND filters or maybe the mist filter or something to kind of, you know, add a little bit more oomph with that big price tag, the big price increase. And yes, it's a big improvement to the Pocket 2, and they still have to keep it pocket sized. I get all that. But what I'm saying is, you couldn't have thrown in maybe a $20 memory card or something like that. Another gripe that I had with this camera, and maybe I'm nitpicking, I'm not nitpicking, no. There's a grip. It's a little extension grip that goes on here. Let me get it. This thing right here, it just kind of clips on. I really thought this was a spare battery. It made sense to me. Oh, okay, you have a little battery extension, then you have the larger battery extension. This was a missed opportunity. Why isn't this an extra spare battery? It would have made the package so much more nicer. You could buy a few of these and maybe one other extended grip that's also an extended battery. But, you know, do you guys get my point? There's a missed opportunity. It's literally just an extended grip, so you can attach a tripod to. But other than that, it has no other function. Add a battery, and it would have been 10 times better. So that being said, what do I think about the Pocket 3? And how does it compare to the iPhone and the X3? I mean, is it really as good as they say? Here's my final thoughts. This is it. Honestly, the image quality is fantastic. And I think this is probably the camera of the year. And it's probably the perfect camera for TikTokers, Instagrammers, people that are social media influencers or social media content creators that are not looking to do long format videos. Now, if you are going to be doing long format videos and you're going to be shooting short films, things like that, don't toss out your A7S III or your cinema camera just yet. This is still a great camera, and I think it would be a fantastic camera to have as a vlogging camera or to feed content into your maybe your B social media platform or C social media platform, Instagram, TikTok, or as a behind the scenes footage camera. This is fantastic because the image quality is that good.
And honestly, it'd be really fun to shoot a short film with this just to see its capabilities. But I really think that this is going to be my new best friend. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.